Nice. What? No, now it's starting. Okay, so so when I was a young child, I really loved trains. I was always watching Thomas the Tank Engine. I loved riding on trains. I wanted to collect the really expensive electric ones and have a table and all these things. And as a small child, I was somewhere between very, very shy and completely the opposite, which was probably really confusing, and I'm still a lot like that. I almost didn't come up, and I'm really doing this completely off the top of my head. So whenever I saw something I was interested in, I would always grab my dad or my mom and be like, I really, like, that's so cool, like, I want to see it, or whatever. But when I started going over there, or someone started dragging me over there, I felt scared and shameful and very negative. I'm not really sure why. And with trains, there was a specific story. When I was in kindergarten, I know there was one of my friends who got made fun of a lot because he had a Thomas the Tank Engine backpack. And there was this rumor that if someone made fun of his backpack, the bus driver would take away your backpack. I'm pretty sure that's not true. I don't know why it was so scary. I was also extremely embarrassed of my love for trains because I guess I associate it with Thomas the Tank Engine, which was a kid's show, and whatever. So because of this weird shame, I feel like I associated with other things I also really liked, a shame. Not sure why, completely. So fast forward to when I was about 5 or 6, and I think this is part of my interest, but there's always been music in my life. I had a video game, and there was a level in it. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but a landscape. And I remember there being an organ in it, and there was organ music in the background. And as a kid, I also, once a year we'd go to church on Christmas. And so it was always or Christmas Eve. So hearing the organ was always a very pleasant thing, and I really wanted to learn how to play the organ. So I'm sure I made this apparent to my parents, who said, you have to play piano first. Of course, I did not understand why we couldn't have a pipe organ in the house. But, I probably threw some kind of hissy fit and whatever. But eventually I started playing piano. And the first lessons I had were in, I think, Bedford with this teacher, Mr. Christie, I think. And I can still remember he taught in a group where there was 6 people in the room, and we'd take turns playing on these keyboards. But when he taught us, he did not teach in music. We had numbers. So it was like, I can still remember, I don't know if it's lightly row or, like 5, 3, 3, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so. And obviously my parents at the time thought that was bullshit because that's not real music, and, so they moved me to a different teacher. And I hated this woman. I hated this woman so much. I liked playing certain pieces on the piano, but I've always had that kind of shame sticking in my head about, the fact that I wanted to learn organ because of a video game was shameful to me. I guess I had a concept of legitimacy. I thought, video game music, it's not real music. But, I was never very vocal about what I wanted to play. And so I was playing whatever was given to me, which I didn't really like, so I didn't really practice. I was getting pressured to practice certain things, and I didn't like that. And so I eventually started playing a different video game with a legitimate composer. And there was a level in it with a ragtimey piece. And I think I was about 8 or 9. I was probably about 9. And I had my dad look up the sheet music on the internet, which probably took hours because the internet was a different place back then. And I brought it to my teacher, and she was just to me like, oh, there's no way you can play this. And she started Xing off things and just telling me like, she started kind of playing it, and it was just so disheartening, and I had it. I was at some point I quit piano, I stopped playing, but I still wanted to play somewhere deep inside. I think that whole experience just made me feel really crappy about it. So then fast forward to college, after years of playing instruments and having kind of like the same kind of dread of not wanting to be opinionated about what I wanted to play, I started doing voice lessons with a teacher named Christopher Corelli, and he was related to the 18th century composer with the same name. And he asked me, he said, what kind of stuff do you want to sing? And I said, I don't really know. I've never sung before at all. So he said, okay, well, I'll give you some pieces and let me know how you feel about them, and you can pick and choose, and no problem. And that was great. And it was also really nice because, I'd never sung before, and there was no, if I ever sung a wrong note, if I messed up, there wasn't an immediate reaction of, no, wrong. It was, as long as you know you made the mistake, and it's conscious, that's great. That's the best thing. So after having this positive experience with learning music, I then started taking piano at college with this teacher named Matt Lane. And he instantly identified with me because of my terrible attention problems and amongst other things. And he would, he said, I was just like you as a kid. I know exactly what you want. Like, if you have something you want to play, we'll work on it. I'll give you pieces like it if it's too hard. And he would make me, play. He never stopped me if something was wrong. He would just say, do you know what you played wrong there? And if I could name what I did wrong, great. But so I basically went from playing, maybe a piece with, I don't know, maybe two notes in the left hand at a time with just a regular simple line in the right when I was playing in second or third grade whenever I quit. The first piece I played in college was a Bach invention, and the second one was Rondo alla Turca by Mozart. So, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it has to do with the learning experience. And also it took that long to get over all of that inner shame and crap. But now, for the end of this story, pretty much, I finally got to the piece that teacher told me I would never be able to play. And I practiced every day. I think it must have been last summer, I think. I was working in the restaurant, so I'd practice when I had time. It was 5 pages long, and I don't even remember if anyone was home, but I got to the last section, like the E prime section. And I finished I played through it without stopping, and I was ecstatic. And I got up and I was like, ah! I was like, fuck you. Like, I just got so, I was like you doubted me, like, how dare you, like, look like where I am now. And, so it was really nice to finally get over all that and return to something that I really love doing. And that's it.